And turning to the Middle East now, the White House is outraged after an Israeli airstrike killed 7 humanitarian workers, including 1 American. Now, Israel's prime minister is taking responsibility for what he calls an unintended strike. NBC's Bree Jackson has the latest details from Washington. Bree, what else is the White House saying about this?
Good morning, Isabel. So in a statement, President Biden said this conflict has been one of the worst in recent memory in terms of how many aid workers have been killed. This is what remains of the convoy carrying humanitarian aid workers. It was clearly marked with the World Central Kitchen logo. The U.S. expressing outrage at the Israeli airstrike behind the destruction and sympathy for the 7 aid workers killed in this attack.
We send our deepest condolences to their families and loved ones.
Among those who died, Australian Zami Frankham. NBC News interviewed her last month.
The situation in Gaza is, as we all know, incredibly bad. It's going to require all of us working together.
In a speech Tuesday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said his country's forces unintentionally hit innocent people. The Biden administration is among those pressing for a thorough and swift investigation.
We hope that those findings will be made public and that there is appropriate accountability held.
The deadly attack is further igniting calls for a ceasefire.
So quite simply, the only viable way to protect Palestinians in the first instance, but also to protect aid agencies and those serving them, is to bring about an end to the ceasefire.
The Democratic base wants to stop funding for Netanyahu's war machine. So if your question is it going to hurt the president unless he turns this around? Yeah, it will.
The White House says it will continue to press Israel to do more to protect civilians and to provide humanitarian aid into Gaza. And for now, the World Central Kitchen is pausing its operations in the region. Last week, the charity said that it had served 42 million meals in 175 days of operations in Gaza. Isabel?
Wow. So, Bree, like you mentioned there, with the World Central Kitchen suspending operations, how will aid get into Gaza and be distributed?
So, Isabel, that's a question many people are asking. World Central Kitchen was one of the few organizations operating in Gaza and was key in building a port in Cyprus to get ships in and out of the region. But Cyprus has said that ships carrying much-needed aid for Palestinians are returning to home ports after that deadly strike.
All right, a lot to watch there. Bree Jackson in Washington for us. Bree, thank you.